Hey, fifth graders, Mr. Kazel checking in here, day 2. It will be Tuesday, March 24th. Today I'm going to show you a lesson on how to multiply fractions. It's where we would be right now if we were in school or near that point. This is something that you've had experience with our DMR and our Minute Math over this school year so far. So for many of you, this will be something that you're going to be able to see and say, oh yes, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to try to keep the lesson short. I am going to attach about 7 problems that you can try, and there's a form you can fill out. It'll come back to me. If you don't, that's perfectly fine as well. But today's going to be multiplying fractions, so enjoy. All right, fifth graders, today we are going to talk about multiplying fractions. You'll see here we have 1/3 times 1/3. In doing this, what we will do is we will multiply our numerators together. So in this case, we are taking 1 times 1, which is 1. And then we are taking 3 times 3 by multiplying our denominators, which is 9. Asking ourselves, is it in simplest form? And the answer is yes, it is. So our answer is 1/9. Moving on to the next problem, beneath that, you'll see we have 1/4 times 4/5. Again, we're going to multiply our numerators, which 1 times 4 is 4. And we're going to multiply 4 times 5, which is 20. We're going to ask ourselves, is 4 over 20 in simplest form? And the answer is no, it's not. So what we're going to do is divide each of these by 4. So we're going to take 4 divided by 4. And 20 divided by 4, and then take 4 divided by 4, which is 1, 20 divided by 4, which is 5. Therefore, my answer is 1/5. Now, you'll notice I put this same problem down below, and the reason for that is because we're going to teach you a method called cross-canceling, where you look at the numerator and denominator opposite. And if you look at this, you'll see 1 and 5, there's nothing that they have in common other than 1. However, you look at the 4 and 4, we can divide each of those by 4. So in this case, we're going to take 4 divided by 4, and then down below, 4 divided by 4, which changes both of those to 1. And then we multiply them both across, and we get 1/5 for an answer. So the cross cancel might be something that some of you would like to use. Next, you're going to see a whole number times a fraction. In this case, we know that when we have a whole number, there's actually a 1 that goes underneath that, even though we very rarely write it. But we can certainly do that, and we're going to want to in this case because it makes multiplying fractions more convenient and easier for us. So now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply across on our numerators. So we're going to take 3 times 1, and we're going to get 3. We're now going to multiply our denominators, 1 times 4, which is 4. Asking ourselves, is this in simplest form? The answer is yes, it is. So I get 3/4. On our next one, you'll see we'll put our 1 underneath it again. Again, we're going to multiply across on our numerators. 5 times 5 is 25. 7 times 1 is 7. However, we'll notice that 25 divided by 7, or 25/7 is an improper fraction. So we know what to do with that. We're going to make it a mixed number by taking 25 divided by 7. Asking ourselves, how many times does 7 go into 25? The answer is 3. Going to subtract. 7 times 3 is 21. Going to subtract 21, taking that away from 25, and we're going to get 4. The 4 becomes my numerator. The 7, the divisor, will become my denominator. So my answer is 3 4/7. You'll notice the last problem here. We have 1 times 6. Again, we're going to put a 1 underneath. We're going to take 1 times 6. In this case, we get 6. We're going to take 6 times 1. We get 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. Therefore, our answer is 1. You'll see I'd written the same problem underneath because I wanted you to be able to see and have an opportunity to use the cross-cancel method. You see the 6 and 6, the numerator and denominator opposite each other, can cancel each other out. 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 6 divided by 6 again is 1. Multiply across, we get 1 over 1, and we know that 1 divided by 1 is 1.
So there's a little mini lesson on how to multiply fractions. Hopefully many of you have a good understanding of what you need to do and can recall that from our Minute Maths and DMRs we've had during the year. Again, I attached a Google form. You can go ahead and try answering your questions. That'd be great. If not, I understand. With that being said, tomorrow we will dive into that a little bit more. We'll talk about how to multiply mixed numbers. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks a lot.